Hello and welcome to the Tip of the Week. I'm Dr. Amy Starr with the Mesa Veterinary Clinic, Paws and Hooves Mobile Veterinary Services, and San Francisco Stables. So today I want to talk about annual physical exams and vaccines. And why is it when you bring in your pet for vaccines that you also need a physical exam? We get a lot of questions from people stating that, well, we can get the vaccines for such and such price at such and such place, and they don't charge us for an exam. We at our clinic feel it's very important that your pets get an exam at least annually. We'd actually prefer that it be done every 6 months. And it's actually illegal to vaccinate a pet without a vaccine. Obviously, clinics can choose to charge for it or not, but all pets should be examined before getting the vaccines. I've seen lots of problems. I've seen puppies die from vaccines because they're already starting to get sick and an exam wasn't done and it wasn't noticed. Or things being missed such as cancers or fevers or illnesses, dental problems, all sorts of things can be missed if we're just basically shooting up the animal with the vaccines. That's another reason why it's so important that you actually take your pet to a vet to get its vaccines. There's lots of different things that can happen if they're not getting the proper vaccines. We see a lot of patients that have received vaccines from feed stores, that their owner gives the vaccines themselves, purchase them at the feed store, and unfortunately we see the pets later with parvo. Those vaccines are not always protected and cared for with the exact specifics that need to be, as you'll get from a doctor. Also, a lot of puppies can have problems such as intestinal worms, or the clients need education as far as preventing heartworms, taking care of the pet so that they don't pass things on to the family. Things like intestinal worms can be passed on to children. So those are some of the reasons, again, why it's important to bring your pet in and get an actual physical exam. And as we're going into 3-year rabies and stuff like that, where your pet may not need the vaccines every year, the physical exam is still important. As we've mentioned before, a pet ages a lot faster than the human does. And so if we do an exam every 3 years on our dog, it's like us going and getting a physical exam every 20 years or so, which obviously is not very appropriate. So there can be a lot of things that can happen, like I mentioned, as far as cancers, illnesses, dental disease, things like that. And then the last reason why it's so important to make sure that a doctor or a vet clinic, it can be the technician obviously, just like how we go in and the nurses give our vaccines, but it's important to have an actual vet clinic do your vaccines, is because if your pet does have any complications with the vaccine, maybe a vaccine reaction, or it might get an abscess or become sick, or maybe it does get the disease that it's being vaccinated for. If it is done by a veterinary clinic, then we can request reimbursement for you for all medical charges, and that's also really important. Okay, so in the physical exam, we're doing a lot more than just kind of glancing over your pet. We're checking ears, eyes, nose. We're checking all the lymph nodes, which tell us about illness. Just like you, if you get a swollen lymph node when you're sick, those can show us these things like illness and cancers. We're checking the belly for any masses, the temperature, all sorts of things. And you may just think that we're chatting to you and petting on your dog, but we're actually checking those things as we're talking to you. So if you have any questions, please give us a call, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.